are some issues out there that need to be addressed, and joining us now to address one such issue, one of my congressional colleagues, the former chairman of the House Science Committee, the gentleman from Pennsylvania who Skypes in today from Naples, Florida, the Honorable Bob Walker. So, Bob,
nice to be with you this morning.
We're glad to have you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What do you make of the president trying to at least link up rhetorically with the Pope? Is this happening in word and really in deed?
Well, I think it is. I mean, the fact is that the Pope has latched on to a lot of the liberal political philosophy and seems to be generating, a lot of attention by looking at the liberal agenda as being something that is something that he can embrace.
Do you think this is unusual for a pope to do this?
Well, he has been far more active politically than most popes would be, particularly on instant matters. I mean, you had Pope John Paul, who took a severe anti-communist stance, but it was a long-term thing. It didn't seem to be the kind of issue that was the momentary issue, the issue of the day, if you will. And this Pope is certainly engaged in a lot of things that are more issues of the moment.
Well, speaking of those issues of temporal concern, climate change. Your take on what the Pope had to say, and will his weighing in help the president rationalize more spending on so-called global warming?
Well, clearly, this is a case where the Pope has had as a key part of his agenda the redistribution of wealth nationally and internationally, primarily moving wealth from richer nations to poorer nations. His Argentinian experience certainly is a part of that. And as I've mentioned in times past, the fact is that that's at the base of most of what is in the climate change debate at the present time. If you look at the real science doesn't back a lot of what is being said, and it's very clear that the real agenda here is to try to move wealth from the richer countries into poorer countries and use a scientific basis for doing it.
So how do you think the 1 billion Catholics in the world will respond to this letter that he's sending out?
Well, I think all over the world, people are beginning to realize that an agenda that essentially reduces the ability of the poorer countries to industrialize, to use fossil fuels, to do the kinds of things that allow them to become wealthier is exactly the wrong direction to go.
So are they going to ignore the Pope's wishes?
Well, it seems to me that the Pope is not able to speak as influentially on matters of economics as he is on matters of moral guidance.
Bob, it was interesting to me as we listened to the comments of President Obama. He reversed the comment of our first president, George Washington, who famously said, "We must see the world as it is, not merely as we wish it to be." He took it and reversed it in speaking about this Pope. Does that, in fact, typify this president? Is it naivete, or is it a distrust of America in days past that motivates our current president?
Well, I think the president from the opening days of his administration has made it clear that many of the things that America did in its past need to be apologized for. And as a result, the rest of the world has taken a look at this president and his foreign policy and decided that they can take advantage of a president that's willing to apologize for his country rather than provide the leadership the world so badly needs. And so I think you're seeing that play out in some of the relationships that he is building in recent days with the Pope.
Fair enough. We'll leave it there. Bob Walker, the gentleman from Pennsylvania, my old congressional colleague, and while I was there, the chairman of the House Science Committee. Thanks for dealing with perhaps the ultimate oxymoron, political science. We do appreciate that, Bob. Hey, a housekeeping note, if you're watching us on Dish TV, you can see us 24/7 on channel 223. Right now, we're also being shown on channel 206 that had been reserved for the Fox Business Network. Stay tuned, we're coming back.